Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Incredible weekend for my teams, disappointing weekend for my Longhorns, outstanding dominant opening victory for my Cowboys. Discussing Cowboys here today, guys. We're almost to 5,000. I know we didn't reach our goal as a channel to get there by Texas LSU on Saturday, but it's not too late to subscribe, so help us out. Let's get over that goal that we set and keep growing this channel on this platform. But getting to the Cowboys, what a performance. 35-17 victory over the New York Football Giants. Dominant performance over an opponent that they should beat. But you know, with the media and the narratives and it being America's team and being the Dallas Cowboys, every game is the biggest game ever, and it's still somehow, you know, America's game of the week. Even though I was talking to one of my other friends that's a Cowboys fan, I'm like, this isn't, knowing the opponent and where the Giants are as an organization, and they're in rebuild mode right now. This isn't, you know, we should go in and handle our business, and boy did we do that. Shout out to Kellen Moore, Dak Prescott, John Kitna. Starting with Mr. Prescott. You know, this guy right here, number 4, General Prescott. Let me get it angle right. General Prescott, because I love his name. Most polarizing player in the league in a lot of ways this offseason, outside of whatever you want to call Antonio Brown. From a strictly on the field standpoint, whether or not he should get paid, what his value is, where he falls, not a top 100 player. He comes out just like he came out at the beginning of camp and shows up and is a leader and has improved and works and has become a student of the game, a student of his craft, and just maturing at the ripe old age of 26, which happens to be the same age when our last great quarterback, Tony Romo, took over for the Dallas Cowboys. We're witnessing a guy that is starting to really starting to mature and develop into his talent, right? Shout out to, I think it was Chris Carter that was talking about on First Things First, just about the longer in the league and the guys that can't work on those things, like a Drew Brees. His arm gets stronger as he develops. You know, the game slows down. We're seeing this with Dak Prescott, but Kellen Moore and John Kitna, because I'm going to get into the game stuff, guys, but just big picture. Kellen Moore and John Kitna, the development, the relationship that Kellen Moore has with Dak and building an offense around his strengths and what he can do for us. And John Kitna cleaning up the mechanic stuff, cleaning up his eyes, cleaning up his footwork. We saw all that on display, not just against the Giants, but also in the preseason to start out with. We're really going to go there. Even in that first Rams drive he had, you know, a lot of good things where it's like you're looking at him, you're like, we are really seeing him grow up. So overall, I was just really pleased. I mean, getting to the game, one of the things I noted, because I have several, ball distribution, getting all these guys involved. You know, Amari Cooper, who we finally get to see coming off the injury, looking healthy, looking explosive, hitting him in stride, hitting him all over the field, hitting him on the touchdown, which I'll get to in a little bit, on the brother from Georgia, DeAndre Baker. Michael Gallup, you know, who they've talked about saying if you didn't know who anybody was on the Cowboys looking at camp, you would think, based upon how they were playing during the entire training camp, Michael Gallup was the best player on the Cowboys. And he has carried that energy onto the field. Michael Gallup's got the juice right now. There's no doubt about it. And then the upgrade of the slot position, Randall Cobb. The leadership, you know, the knowledge, how, you know, his ability to run routes, his toughness, you know, breaking tackles, the speed, the downfield speed component that we now have to complement this offense. Jason Witten being back in the fold, who's basically like our, you know, Jack Ryan type scout that's come back and has downloaded and acquired all this knowledge from the Monday Night booth and is in the room. And it's funny because a lot of people thought Jason Witten would deter from the tight end position with him being there. And Blake Jarwin is still allowed to flourish. Blake Jarwin serves a role, and he can do some things that Jason Witten can't do, but Jason Witten's still there, supplementary role, able to get a touchdown, which was really one of the coolest moments of yesterday's win. and his presence in the huddle, his presence on the sideline, and that leadership in the locker room, it's going to be huge for us. Getting back to Dak. 405, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, no spin moves. He's getting that crap out of his game, and I really, really appreciate that. I don't think people are talking about enough how well he balanced himself in the pocket. Not that he was under duress a whole lot, because I think it helps. Again, Travis Frederick being back, everybody being healthy up front, Connor Williams being bigger, your offensive line should hold up better, and they did. I think, two, being able to then lean on the run game in the second half and get them out and start to develop something with Zeke. He's not in football shape at all yet, right? But getting there, getting him up to speed, getting Tony Pollard up to speed, and seeing him break through. The other thing I wanted to also highlight, just within the run stuff, is the RPO stuff, right? Seeing a lot of that. Our quarterback run game, some of the fullback lead stuff we did with Jameis, all this stuff excites me. And the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway, because I'm going to get to the defense and all that too, my biggest excitement as a fan yesterday, thank you, Kellen Moore, for bringing us into 2019. I can finally watch my team and be like, we're running a modern offense. This is what football has come to, in terms of spreading people out, matchup-based football. We were actually trying to pick on guys yesterday. And I know we started to get there last year. If you look at the Eagles game and what they were doing with Mark Cooper and some other games last year, but building a whole game plan around just really attacking. Kellen Moore was freaking ruthless yesterday. I mean, you're looking at him just straight up isolating dudes, running people off, motioning, helping our quarterback and our team identify coverages a lot better, making it harder on the defense to get lined up. Half the battle on defense is alignment and being balanced in your sets when you get aligned, and all the motion back and forth and all the window dressing just to run stretch to Zeke. I love it. And then play actioning off of that. Every component of our offense now is you're thinking. I now know how LSU fans feel about having a new offense and a young gun coordinator like they have with Joe Brady. It's funny, the similarities there. But Kellen Moore, I mean, my buddy Bruce, who I'm going to try to set up a podcast type deal about the Cowboys with him because he's a big fan as well. And I think it'll be somewhat similar to what Tran and I do with the Longhorns. But Bruce hits me up and he's like, dude, I just love the way Kellen Moore looks on the sideline. He looks like a young genius. And it's funny because I think it was the play. It was a drive we actually didn't score. And shout out to the Cowboys again. I think they had 5 consecutive drives of like 75-yard drives, 5 straight scoring touchdown drives, right? Like just incredible proficiency all day long. But it was a drive we actually stalled, and I think Amari dropped it on 3rd and 5 or something like that. I don't remember the down distance per se. But they show Kellen Moore on the sideline, and he has a smirk on his face. Even after, it's a situation where, it's going to be a change of possession, and, he's up there with his play sheet, and he just, does and crosses it off. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, in his mind, he's like, I got what I wanted. He dropped the ball, but I got what I wanted. That's the type of borderline arrogance I want from my play caller, especially these young guys. And look, there's going to get to a point where people will start to get tape on Kellen Moore and what he's doing, his tendencies, and what he likes to do. Tony Romo actually talks about this all the time, about if he was head coach, he'd have 3 different play callers, because eventually it's all about being predictable and unpredictable, right? And eventually they'll be able to, the league will download stuff on Kellen Moore and get a beat on what exactly he's doing, what's different from Scott Linehan, because we still have the same offense, just a different perspective and look on things, right? So, but for the time being, I love his aggressiveness. I love the ruthlessness. I mean, just overall, just impressive. You see that juice with Dak now. You see that juice with Michael Gallup. Zeke probably take him a couple more weeks to where he's in complete football shape overall. But he wasn't bad either. He did tackle a guy in pass pro, but That's neither here nor there. Thought penalties were down. Again, no sacks. Overall, just impressive offensive output. And for the folks, I'm gonna just say this real quick. Because I have people that text me, seemingly on a throw for throw basis when Dak misses something or the ball placement isn't perfect, but I don't get those texts when somebody misses a block or misses a tackle or blows a coverage. Those texts never seem to come through, but I always get the text about Dak. Enjoy the football game. Let it develop. Let it play out. Chris Carter, again, talked about this about social media and us rushing as fans. I talked about this on this channel for I don't know how long, about there is a process that goes into developing, and if somebody doesn't look the way we want them to look upon first impression or right away, then we go into, automatically placing judgment and they're not there and they're not good and blah, blah, blah. But there's so many things that go into a successful NFL quarterback and a successful NFL offense. And the Cowboys are doing a good job. Kellen Moore bringing some of that Boise State in, bringing some of the good things he did learn from Scott Linehan and Tony Romo and in the rooms that he's been in, Jason Witten included, learning all that. Jason Garrett. There's a lot of people that are involved in John Kitna being the eye in the sky now of cultivating a real live offense that you can win a Super Bowl with, because we now live in the era where I believe they said the teams that averaged over 30 points a game, all 4 of them were in the conference championship games, and the Cowboys are studying that. They realize that it's an organizational thing as well, and we're following suit. So health willing, we looked really, really good, and I don't care about the opponent or anything like that. You have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on execution, because I'll tell you this team last year, this would have been a 20-17 win. I'll tell you that right now. It would have been a 20-17 win. It would have been one of those things where we're sweating it out, where we probably would have ran Zeke 30-something times. He would have out yards, but it would have been effective. Would have been complaining about Dak. The other thing, too, is just having the mindset for Dak Prescott, knowing that this is his offense, and you're going to be throwing. We're going to ask you to make plays down the field. We're not handcuffing you anymore. We're not saying you're the bus driver or the game manager anymore. We're going to let you go out there, make your calls, make your checks, and be aggressive. Be the attacker, right? Instead of being on the defensive and, they're stuff in the box. Let me dunk and the dink and dak and all that type of stuff. No, man, we're coming out here and we're going to ball. Right, and I saw that from Dak today, and it's a mindset that the coaches have to also instill. I'm telling you, as a player, if you know you're going to go out all week in practice, you're going to go out there and they're going to give you an opportunity to be aggressive and throw the ball down the field. You see the juice now from the receivers who know what the game plan is. The running backs knowing they're going to be involved in the pass game, and then if we get ahead, now we can get our carries on the back end and run this game out and close. Right, so haven't mentioned a word about the defense yet. And we're 13 minutes into this. So defensively, I thought we got a little amped up with Saquon, right? And we got ourselves out of position early, struggled, but we settled down. And credit to Rob Marinelli, Chris Richard for doing a good job, knowing what they have in the opponent of Eli Manning and Pat Shurmur. Their West Coast short passing game didn't have great threats on the outside, whether it's Fowler or Latimer. You really just look and defend Ingram and Sterling Shepard, try to keep everything in front of you, and then contain Saquon. And Saquon's going to get his. He did. Evan Ingram was going to get his. He's basically their number one. And Eli played well. Eli did some athletic things randomly yesterday. But overall, there's a talent gap, and our defense just out-talent, overall just overwhelmed them over the course of 4 quarters. I didn't think it was a great performance by us, and we weren't necessarily sharp, and we're going to have to be sharper. We're kind of aided by the schedule because, even going Washington next week, and I know Case Keenum threw for a hell of yards, but, I'm just hearing now Darius Geis is going to be out, and they're going to have to, Washington's trying to still find their identity in their new offensive scheme, right? So, and they have a new young play caller, I think in Connell. So, overall, we're gonna have to clean some things up on defense and just make sure we're settled. but I still know we can get our rush with 4. I still know how fast and effective my linebackers are. I was actually impressed with the safeties yesterday. I thought they had a really good game, Woods and Heath. I thought Jordan Lewis played well. Anthony Brown, Cheeto, got to get these brothers up to speed. And Cheeto's no longer going to get the pass from me of those balls where he's played great coverage and the ball doesn't get through. He's got to learn to locate the football better. I'll give him the pass first couple years, but now, a veteran in the league, auditing yourself, learning what your strengths and weaknesses are, got to track the ball better. I know there was that one pick where he looked so disoriented and just like clapped his hands when the ball was coming down. I think it was Daniel Jones that threw that, but he's got to get better at just attacking the football when it's in the air, turning his head a little bit quicker, and asking, whether it's with the DB coaches or whatever, why do those balls keep seeming to get through on me? Because you don't see that happen on the other side of Byron Jones. You just don't. The last thing I wanted to mention was actually on the side of the Giants. I'm confused as to why that when we're up 35-10 and they go on that last drive and they go down, they get a touchdown with Eli Manning. Why doesn't Daniel Jones get reps in that situation? And it was just something that irked me from a football pure standpoint. I mean, Cowboys stuff aside, you have a young player. We drafted him 6 overall. Y'all love him. There's nothing beneficial that Eli is going to get out of those reps in the last, I don't know, whether it was 6 or 7 minutes in the game. There's nothing like him. Eli going on that march is not going to get him into rhythm for whoever you're playing next week. Those reps, who are they more valuable for? Eli or Daniel Jones? Let Daniel Jones come in, and eventually they waited till we put Cooper Rush in so that, because it's all perception, right? If Daniel Jones comes in and he plays well, it only hurts, the quarterback. They don't want to hear the quarterback controversy. Oh, Daniel Jones looked good. Why doesn't he get an opportunity? Blah, blah, blah. They don't want to hear that. So instead of actually doing what's best for your quarterback and development process, you're listening to outside noise, and I'm just really conflicted on why the Giants decided to do that. It was really bizarre, considering the game was out of reach. Put your young guy in and let him get as many snaps as possible. He comes in, after Cooper Rush they got to have their little drive or whatever, and then, I know he fumbled or whatever, but it's like that's not enough game reps to see him. You can make it very clear Eli Manning is going to be our starter for the foreseeable future unless something changes, at the end of the season or out of contention. But yeah, we wanted to get Daniel Jones some reps. I don't understand that, and it just irks me when teams mishandle quarterback development. That I'm not saying the Giants are all the way there or anything like that, but something to keep your eye on. But overall, very, very pleased with this Cowboys offense, with this Cowboys team, and our future is bright with this young core. Hopefully we can get Dak and Amari buttoned up from a financial standpoint. Both those brothers deserve their money. But overall, guys, how about them? Cowboys look good. Let's go back next week, do it again. FedEx. I'll have another video. Potentially a Redskins fan, not sure, but definitely have another video. Redskins prep this week and just getting into what we can expect from the enemy and getting another divisional win. I appreciate y'all. Peace.